Welcome to Obi-Wan Studios. For this episode of LEGO Star Wars Ranked, I'm going to be ranking all of the Jango Fett sets. Two exclusions for this episode include the buildable figure Jango Fett, just because buildable figures are kind of their own thing and I just really don't like them, so that is being left out, along with the 2013 Advent Calendar, which included Santa Jango Fett, but because it's an Advent Calendar, I'm just not including it in this list today as well. 2025 was a pretty great year for Jango Fett sets, all things considered, so I thought this would be a great time to make a worst to best video, starting off with the worst Jango Fett set. Alright, now what I think is the worst Jango Fett set is the 8011 Technic Jango Fett. And listen guys, I grew up with this era of LEGO Star Wars. I have a lot of nostalgia for the early Technic sets. I will never personally not love them, but I can also admit that some of them certainly haven't aged that well. Like the Droid is actually pretty fantastic still, but then a set like the Jango Fett, even though it's highly impressive what the design team was able to do making a buildable Jango Fett out of Technic in 2002, it definitely has not aged that well at all. But the color scheme is certainly a lot more accurate than I think a lot of people would have expected thinking about this set, but it does look really good. You have the movable rangefinder, which is awesome. You have the holsters for his blaster pistols, and then when you tilt him forward, the big missile on top of the jetpack actually fires, making for such a fun play feature. So I do personally really like this set a lot, but I don't think it's better than any of the other sets on our list. Next is the 75408 Jango Fett helmet from 2025. Now this might be a bit of a surprising placement for this set, but because it has one fatal flaw in my opinion, I just could not place it any higher, and it's the stickers. Not only is the color matching absolutely terrible, but placing them all the way around the build ruins the building experience and just makes it look so bad on display because it's near impossible to place them so that they line up perfectly. It just cheapens what otherwise is a really phenomenal helmet collection set. It would have been perfect had LEGO printed all of those pieces, which I believe we deserve to have gotten, but instead the stickers just really ruin what would have been such an amazing set. Number 5 on our list is the 75015 Corporate Alliance Tank Droid from 2013. And this is a pretty interesting set because we don't actually see the Corporate Alliance Tank Droid during Attack of the Clones. You do see it in a deleted scene, but should LEGO be making sets based off of deleted scenes? Probably not, but it still made for a pretty great set and a little bit underappreciated from 2013 in my opinion. You get Jango Fett, a Phase 1 Clone Trooper, and a B1 Battle Droid, which is in the color scheme kind of like what you see during the battle for Geonosis. So I think it's a pretty great minifig selection with a pretty great Corporate Alliance Tank Droid build. It's definitely not perfect though in my opinion. It needed some printed details or something just to add more detail to it. And I also don't like how you can see the colored pieces through the tread of the build. That just does not look good at all to me. Those all should have been black and shades of gray just to make it blend in a little bit better. But it's a pretty great set and it's going to be number 5 on our list. Number 4 on our list is the 7153 Jango Fett Slave 1 from 2002. I love this set quite a lot. You get the very first version of Jango Fett and young Boba Fett in minifig form, the very first version of Jango Fett Slave 1. How can you not love this set because of those things? However, I certainly have to admit, the set, while they did a really amazing job with it for 2002, it has definitely aged in terms of the shaping of it, the color scheme, and just how fragile I've found the build in my time owning it. It's certainly not one that you could really use as a playset by today's standards. A lot of these pieces, especially with the shielding, just will fall up on you if you pick it up the wrong way. So because of those reasons, number 4 is where the set lands on the list, but the size of the Slave One, all of the functionality is truly fantastic. Just the age is really what's hurting it here. Making the top 3 is the 75433 Jango Fett Starship from 2025. This set made it into the top 3 because even though the build is small for what I would want for a playscale version of the Slave 1, they did an amazing job with it. It looks fantastic. The shaping of it at this size was done really well, and it does have some good play features. The build is an absolute tank as well, so the Slave 1 itself, even though maybe maybe 15-20% bigger would have been a lot better in my opinion for a play scale Slave 1 size. At this scale, they did do a really good job, I think. It comes with the maintenance cart, which I really do love and appreciate, so you can display it in flight mode, which looks really good on display. And then the minifig lineup as well is pretty fantastic. You get Jango Fett, which this new 2025 Jango Fett I really do overall like a lot. There are a few issues that I have with it, but I'll save that for when the UCS Jango Fett Slave 1 comes up. And then this one as well just doesn't get the arm printing that you get with the UCS version, so not the best version of Jango Fett from the year, but still a solid minifig. We have the young Boba Fett, which has been so controversial in the community. I'm not really going to get into it here at all, but I don't think he's quite as terrible as, you know, most of the community thinks. And then Lamassu really carries this minifig lineup a lot. He's just an absolutely fantastic minifig, one I'm super excited to have now in my collection. And for $70, when a lot of LEGO Star Wars sets, especially in 2025, feel very overpriced, I feel like $70 is not terrible at all for what you're getting in this set. On any sort of sale, 5-10%, then it's a really good deal, but $70 seems on the fair side for me personally, so I just appreciate that this set was also more reasonably priced compared to a lot of other ones that, in my opinion, certainly weren't this year. Number 2 is the 75191 Jedi Starfighter with Hyperdrive from 2017. This is just such a phenomenal set. I absolutely love the concept of getting a Jedi Starfighter with the Hyperdrive booster ring as a playset. It is so sweet and even makes for such an impressive display piece as well. With this set, you get just a really great Episode 2 version of Obi-Wan's Jedi Starfighter. It's a really great build. It looks fantastic. They just designed it really, really well. And then you have the Hyperdrive ring, which just takes that original version's design and really improves upon it. It looks fantastic. The color scheme is absolutely awesome. And then the way the handle is dual purpose in being a handle, but then supporting kind of the centerpiece of the Hyperdrive ring as well, was really cleverly well done. And it's all transparent, so it doesn't affect how the build looks at all either. And then you can hold the entire thing as kind of like a trigger system almost. You can swoosh it around, and then the trigger function actually allows you to release the Jedi Starfighter or place it in the booster ring, which is a really easy to use and satisfying system. And then as well, you have the spring-loaded shooters right underneath that you can also reach while you're swooshing it around. It just was very well designed. They absolutely nailed this entire thing, in my opinion, in terms of the build. And then for the minifigs, we get R4, Obi-Wan Kenobi, young Boba Fett, and Jango Fett. An absolute killer lineup for Episode 2. The only real downside to it is just that it meant you weren't going to get a play-scale Jango Fett Slave 1 to go along with this, which would have been so amazing. I bet they would have absolutely made just a fantastic Episode 2 Slave 1 to go along with this, had they chosen to have done it, but it's just such a shame that they didn't. And finally, what I think is the best Jango Fett LEGO Star Wars set ever made, the 75409 Ultimate Collector Series Jango Fett Starship. This thing is truly amazing. The build looks so good. Honestly, the design team behind this Slave 1 absolutely nailed it. The proportions, the shaping and angles of it, the color scheme. It's essentially flawless. It looks so incredible. It's become one of my favorite UCS sets because it's just such a striking build, and I absolutely just love the color scheme of the Slave 1 from Episode 2 in this kind of point in time in the universe. The blues, the greens, the white, it just all looks absolutely amazing. And honestly, my only real complaint with the build is that it just doesn't fit in my display shelves behind me. It's too big to actually fit in there. So it's a little annoying that I have to dust it all the time, but that's certainly not a knock against the set. It's just kind of the first thing that always comes to mind with it is that I wish I actually could fit it in those display shelves. But the build, it's really beautiful. The stickers do hurt it a little bit, certainly in terms of the quality on the ones that are placed on the windshield. The color matching is not great. Then placing the stickers on the seismic charge that you get, well, actually being able to display the seismic charge hatch opening on the back and actually having one there is really awesome. I love that they added that detail to the build. Placing those stickers on it, certainly not fun. They don't look that great at all. So some quality issues there on LEGO's end. Printing some more pieces would have helped, like for that seismic charge for sure, but otherwise the build is just exceptionally well done. A lot of great features with it too, like the repulsor lift wings actually rotate with the build with a UCS Slave 1. Like, that's amazing. You actually have the twin laser cannons at the bottom, which can move as well. And then you have a really well-designed interior. The stickers that are for the main cockpit as well look like they're right out of episode 2. They look so great. I love all of the details about the interior too. It just looks really, really nice. The new windshield piece, all just, I really can't say enough good things about this build. The minifigs, certainly a point of contention, especially among the community. Young Boba Fett, as already mentioned, highly controversial. You know, LEGO definitely could have done a better job with him. I don't think he's as bad as a lot of people say, but he could have been better, that's for sure. Jango Fett, this is the one where we got the new rangefinder piece, the very first set that included it for the UCS Jango Fett, and it's a really great rangefinder piece. The only kind of issues I have with this Jango Fett that are, you know, preventing it from being an absolute 10 out of 10 minifig is that the actual color of the jetpack piece should match his helmet. It's done in the dark gray, not the lighter gray, and it just needs to match. So that's just a little bit of a color issuing there. And then for the face print, one of them should have had the actual comms link antenna kind of communication piece that you see him when he's flying the Slave 1 in episode 2. It just needed that because when you have him on display inside of the Slave 1, you just really notice, but otherwise the arm printing, everything else looks really, really good. And then the $300 price point. I personally don't feel like this set is overpriced at all. $300 seems, you know, pretty fair to me, especially because the build was so well done. When LEGO really brings it in terms of the design of the build and just what you get and the attention to detail, then, you know, then I feel like you can justify that price point a little bit more. But for what you were actually getting, $300, I feel like this was a really good set for that price point, personally at least. So this set easily for me is the best Jango Fett set that LEGO has ever made. And there you guys have it. That is my ranking for every LEGO Star Wars Jango Fett set. And with 2025, LEGO giving Jango Fett some much deserved love, I thought it was a great time to actually get all of these sets together in one video for you guys and rank them. So I really do hope you enjoyed the video. And let me know how you guys would have ranked all of these sets as well in the comments, whether your ranking might be the same or very close to mine or wildly different. I'd be curious to know how you guys would have actually ranked these sets. And if this series is something you also would like to see me continue on the channel, I've been thinking about doing like ranking all of the Clone Wars or all of the Revenge of the Sith sets in one long video. Could be really fun to do, so let me know if you'd like to see me continue this series on the channel. Thanks so much for watching, especially if you made it all the way to the end of this video. Take care, you guys, and as always, my name is Justin, and I'll see you guys on the next LEGO Star Wars video on Obi-Wan Studios.